Is my grandpa secretly Commissioner Gordon? What burger of the day do I want to eat today?
How does Ben Grimm have children?
How is Hope gonna get herself out of this one?
Let's have a conversation.
Hello, welcome to Conversations with the Goob. I'm the Goob, let's have a conversation. So I thought today's video might be fun. I want to talk about, I've already mentioned before, my favorite Marvel superhero, Spider. My favorite version of Spider-Man is the Superior Spider-Man. But I also have a favorite different Spider person. Scarlet Spider, Spider-Woman, all those different versions of them. Mine is one that I feel is very underrated. I feel that she's overlooked and she was overshadowed by a character that came out like a month after she did. And that is Silk. Now, you'll notice that I do have the collector on my Silk statue shelf. That's because they're glued down. Even though it's on a very high area in my room, they just keep magically being flown off the shelf. She just has problems balancing, but he balances just fine, but he'll just get thrown off. So I had to glue them down. So that's why he's there. So Silk was seen in, she was first introduced at the end of the Superior Spider-Man arc after Peter Parker got back control of his body, and all of a sudden his spider sense goes haywire and he's drawn to this like bunker, and he doesn't know why, but like something is pulling him there. So he goes to the bunker. He opens the doors up because they're locked. He like hacks into the system and unlocks the doors and releases Cindy Moon. That's when we get to find out who she is. Actually, I think they just show off that she's got spider powers, and they're very attracted to each other because their spider pheromones make them very attracted to each other right off the bat. But either way, it turns out Cindy Moon was on the same science trip where she was at the science lab along with Peter Parker the day Peter Parker got bit. So after he brushed the spider off of him, it went over and bit Cindy Moon before crawling away and probably dying. So she got her powers from the same spider that Peter did. And that's one of the reasons why their pheromones are making themselves attracted to each other too. Because of this, though, it released this bad guy. I should have looked his name up, but I don't want to go. I'm not going too much into the web of Spider-Verse storyline, and so I didn't. This ancient group of villains that hunt spiders and eat them, I believe, or just kill them, but they hunt the spiders down. And they've been going through the multiverse, the Spider-Verse they call it, and killing all these spiders. Well, they haven't been able to find the 616 universe because it wasn't a strong enough spider connection, I guess. And Cindy Moon was locked in the bunker to keep that from happening. So she gets out of the bunker, and now all of a sudden there's so much spider energy or something like that they immediately sense that she's out of the bunker and go, hey, that's where she's at, and start to come. And it leads to this whole array of characters from all over the Spider-Verse. Like that's where, we get Peter Porker, the Spider Ham or Spider Pig. the Superior Spider-Man's in there again because in his book he was transported into the future for a short time and then he comes back, and that was him being in the Spider-Verse, and just every variation of Spider-Man throughout the entire multiverse of worlds were pretty much teaming up and forming like groups to like take out these hunters, and that's where we meet Spider-Gwen. And she's so overshadowed Cindy Moon. Like, Cindy Moon was awesome. She has this really cool outfit. Her costume before this was literally just her webbing wrapped around her entire body and looked amazing. And she's a South Korean American. And she's just one of the first, she was one of the very small pool of Asian superheroes, and she was awesome. She had an awesome backstory. She's actually in the 616 universe and not just a copy from a multiverse. But then all of a sudden Spider-Gwen comes along and everyone loses their mind. She looks cool. She wears like a hoodie. I mean, and she's white with pink highlights. Maybe that's what they like too, because it was this pink character. So like Spider-Gwen's story is that in her world, she was the one that got the spider powers and not Peter Parker. And Peter Parker is like this dweeb that injects himself with the lizard thing and goes haywire and ends up getting killed. They don't tell us all that. That comes in a later book. All we know is that in her world, she got the powers and Peter's the one that died. And I thought it was going to be the exact same way. But she's the one that killed him by trying to grab him with webbing. But it was just, I don't know. I don't get the big hubbubaloo behind her, but when she came out, she was meant to just be a one-off character that was going to be in the Spider-Verse, and then we might see like glimpses of her here and there when they ever do any multiverse stories, but she wasn't really meant to be this huge character that just takes over, and she did. It overshadowed Silk. Silk had her own running book that was going that ended up getting canceled. They then focused on Spider-Gwen and gave her own book that I believe is still going. And then she's been in so many team-ups. That's what spawned Gwenpool, even though they're not even related. It was like, oh, this white character with pink highlights did so well, let's make the exact same version, but as a Venom character, or not Venom, Deadpool variant, with Gwen Stacy. But it's not even Gwen Stacy, her name's just Gwen. Either way, it's just, she overshadowed Silk, and Silk doesn't get, when they did the Spider-Verse movie with Miles Morales, Silk wasn't even one of the characters that came out in it. She's supposed to be getting her own movie because of how well Spider-Verse did. They greenlit her to get a movie, so I'm excited for that if that actually happens. I think COVID kind of put a lot of things on hold, so it might not ever come to be. But I really like Silk. This is actually number 2, but I really liked the orange of the Hydra symbol and the background that goes in my room really well, the orange and the blue. And then it was perfect. We met Robbie Thompson. He was one of the writers of Silk. He also wrote for Supernatural, which is really cool. We sat in on one of his things. But so we met him. He signed it. We talked to him a bit. That was back when Silk, obviously this was number 2, and that one had come out pretty darn recently when we went and got it signed. But she was also in Agents of Atlas, which also ended. She is part of the new team. Marvel was going all Asian character team, and it had a lot of really cool new characters that they introduced just for it that I don't know if we're ever going to see again now because it's over with. Maybe they'll do an Agents of Atlas run again. But yeah, I just thought I'd share her with you. I'd like to know who your favorite non-Peter Parker Spider-Man is. Leave that down in the comments. And do you like Spider-Gwen? Do you think Spider-Gwen is super cool and totes awesome, and you think Cindy Moon's boring and that's why she got replaced? Let me know about that down in the comments. Let's have a conversation about Silk versus Spider-Gwen. You know who I think wins. Well, anyways, as always, just remember, you don't need to have superpowers to be a hero.
Hey, so I noticed after I was done filming that the light was hitting the comic books. You couldn't really see it. So I just wanted to do this close-up of the book and the figure just so you could see it.